Sing, Jeff, when you get back from Kentucky. See how easily we problem solve that with the help of the internet? Remember when internet wasn't a thing?
Yeah.
How did people silence their iWatches back then?
It's true.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
Board games.
And
board gamey things.
Exactly. We're here today to do another episode of Board Game Snapshots.
Pacha.
Baja!
Pacha!
And if you can hear something going, it's because winter is coming and we've got the space heater on.
Winter's coming
So you're
fast.
gonna have to get used to a little background noise again, people. We've gone months without it.
Mm-hmm.
And now here we are again with it.
Yeah.
It's cold.
It is.
It's all heck. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, our Board Game Snapshot series is all about reviews, okay? So we have 5 mini reviews for you here today. Now,
All but one.
all but one of these games were sent to us for review. So we will let you know every time whether or not a game has been sent us to review, sent to us for review, and sometimes we'll even include all the words in our sentences.
Sometimes.
Not every time.
I need to shave.
Yeah. So
You think so?
I just was agreeing with you because you said you did.
Sometimes Jamie just humors me.
Jeff's got a lot of salt and pepper in that beard. So salt and pepper's here, and it is in Jeff's beard.
Do you know sometimes I would rather you just give me your genuine opinion as opposed to just humoring me?
What do you mean? I don't know when a beard needs to be. It's not like out of control. When is a beard not a beard?
That's a really good question. When is a beard not a beard? Like if it's just gone?
I guess if you're smooth.
Like
No.
is stubble considered a beard?
I don't know.
These are the questions we have.
These are the questions.
Answers.
The first game that we're going to talk about today is none other than Apiary. And this is the newest game from Stonemaier Games, which was sent to us for review. So thank you to Stonemaier Games. We did get an early review copy of this. We've been sitting on it for a good 2 months at least.
Been busy, man.
We've been busy. Now listen, this
Life
game...
been busy. Get it? Busy.
Life is busy. Busy bees. This game is about bees in space. You want to talk about busy bees? Space bees.
Space bees.
They got so much to do. So many things to do.
They do.
Now, Apiary. This game has a lot of different mechanics within it, but in a nutshell, it is basically you are putting out bees as workers. So it's worker placement, but it's not like pure worker placement where you're blocking spaces.
Correct.
You can always bump people, bumping bees.
There's
okay?
actually triggers based off of the bumping too, which
For
is
sure,
yeah.
sure. So essentially what you're doing is you're either placing one of your bee workers onto the board. Each section of the board with each bee space corresponds to a different action that you can take. So you're either doing that or you're retrieving your bees and doing some retrieve actions like sending some bees into hibernation, maybe gaining some income, that kind of thing. There's a variety of different action spaces which include gaining some tiles. So you're kind of, I would say, is it colonizing? Like colonizing the bee
Let's say, like,
hive?
expanding your hive.
Terraforming?
Yeah.
Bee forming? I don't know.
Bee-forming, yeah.
In space. So everybody's going to have their own individual little player board and you're going to be putting hexagonal tiles out. Each of those could be different things. Some you're recruiting new bees, some you're gaining a farm, you might be doing some development or expanding the hive, whatever it might be, okay? So you're gaining tiles, you are also able to do some conversions with different resources. There's an explore action where you can move the space bee, queen bee, around, not Beyonce. She is not in the game. However, there is a queen bee in the game. And they are moving around and they're collecting resources and doing some stuff like that.
Exploring planets.
Exploring
I think
planets.
is the theme, yeah.
Exactly. Then there's one where you can gain more bees because once the bee gets to level 4, so each bee kind of rotates and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Once it's at 4, then it has to hibernate and actually goes off the board. So you need to be able to gain that bee back. So that's one. There's also some cards which are called seeds that you are either using for an action or using for end of game points. So essentially, that's what it is. You're placing out workers. Really, you're building up this big engine so that you can gain resources in order to spend those resources to gain tiles, in order to gain victory points and gain the favor of the queen bee, and it's just point salad.
I just want to mention, Jamie was referencing the bees scaling up in levels.
Yeah.
Certain slots, once it gets to level 4, will have added ability triggers
Bee
on
bonuses.
those spots if they're at level 4. And the hibernation thing is interesting because it's also pushing endgame. So as your bee gets hibernated, you'll put a token on the hibernation track. And as that fills up, that's actually going to trigger endgame.
I really, really liked this game. At first, it was a little bit of a slow starter.
It's a slow burn at the beginning, but then as you build out your little engine and your hive, it's like, oh, I'm going to do this, which lets me do this, and I'm going to get 2 resources, and then I'm going to bump you, and it's,
Exactly, because you're building out that, like, hive area, and you only have limited resource storage.
Yep.
So you need to build it out so you can store more, because the more resources you have, the more things that you can do. And I really liked it. I love engine builder games, and this definitely has a flavor of that, and it feels like there's a lot to do. Like you have a lot of options. However, you only have 4 bees, and sometimes you don't even have 4 bees because one of them is hibernating. So you have to really kind of think about what you're doing.
2 things about this game. 1, the production is beautiful, just like
Stunning.
most Stonemaier games. 2, it's got that Stonemaier feel wherein there's a ton of things you can do. There's a bunch of tracks. There's the queen track. There's all of these little, like, nuanced areas you can go to. But if you do too much, you will not be successful. You kind of have to focus on something. Like, you have to find a synergy between a couple things in order to maximize your score.
Yes.
I also found the speed of the game at 2-player was
really
chef's
good.
kiss.
Yeah, it ramped really well.
It did not overstay its welcome. I didn't feel like I lost anything playing at 2-player.
No.
Because you're bumping and constantly exchanging your bees.
Yeah.
You don't get blocked off, so it's not like this, okay, now this round is over, you kind of have to reset. Like, everything's so fluid with that bumping. Like, everyone's
limited player interaction.
No, the only player interaction is like the tiles you can grab. Like you might grab a tile that I'm going after,
which I did
faster than I do, which you did. But yeah, limited player action because you can't technically block people out. But if you bump someone, you're giving them either an upgraded bee or a chance to trigger their income, which can be lucrative.
Right, yeah, through hibernation and all that stuff. Anyways, really, really enjoyed it. I don't know if this is this designer's first game. Her name is Connie Vogelman, but really great job. I'm
Conchai
a big...
Moria, too.
Obvious, yeah, it's beautiful, stunning.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, if you're interested, I would say it's definitely worth a try for sure. I mean, Stonemaier makes good games, so what can you expect?
We've only played it at 2.
We've only played it at 2. Yeah. Space Bees!
All right, next up on the list is from 25th Century Games, and this one was also sent to us from the publisher from 25th Century, so thank you to them for that. Ra is a bidding game where ultimately that is the main mechanic. You are going to be exchanging bidding tokens with all the other players in the game. And basically, you'll have 3 on your player board, and if you use one to win a successful bid, you're actually going to replace it with the remaining bid that's on the bidding track. So, for example, I might bid a 12 and win the tiles that are on the bidding track, and I'll replace the tile with whatever bidding tiles on there. Maybe it's a 2 bidding tile. So for the next round, I lose the 12, but I'm getting the 2 for next round. So there's this give and take of like, I really want these tiles, but I know I'm going to be losing the 12 for next round. So you're kind of just going back and forth, and all of these different tiles will score you different types of victory points. So some of them are set collection, some of them are multiplication, like the Nile tile will only score if you have the flood tile as well. Some of them are just straight victory points. For each god tile, you can use it to do a special ability, or it scores 2. So again, it's all bidding. So tiles are going to come out, pulled out of a bag one by one. People can choose to invoke the power of Ra.
I invoke Ra!
To trigger a bid. And then it goes around, everyone chooses to bid or pass, and then however that outcome is, that person will gain the tiles. And what's really cool is the end game, each round is only going to be 3 times the amount of players. Because you only have 3 bidding tiles. Once you use one, you flip it, you don't get to do it again. So you can kind of start also seeing some strategy develop wherein it's like, yeah, maybe I have a 1 or a 2, and if I wait till the very end, maybe I'm the only one left with a bidding tile, so I can kind of play around with what comes out in the bidding row. But in essence, that's Ra. You're bidding on tiles in order to put them into your player board in order to maximize your points.
Yeah, I really this is the best bidding game that we've ever played, and one of the reasons why we liked it so much, I think, is because you only get one chance to bid.
Yep.
So if I say
not
pass,
an option.
it's not going to come back to me again, or if I bid and then it comes back to me, I can't then bid up again. So we really liked that, and it's simple because it is primarily set collection. So like you're drawing the tile or whatever, so you can see what's out and you can be like, I see what I've got. I can see that this is worth it for me, or I can see it might be worth it for Jeff, so I might do a high bid knowing he really wants it, so he has to spend his higher bidding chip. This is a Reiner Knizia game. This is a re-implementation of the original game with Ian O'Toole art. Now the production copy that...
Yeah, we didn't play this version.
Yeah.
We played a friend's version, the Pharaoh. I think it's like the Pharaoh edition, which is like full deluxe.
Big, yeah. Anyways, I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
Best bidding game we've ever played.
Yeah, we're full transparency here. Bidding games are not usually our cup of tea.
No, we hate them generally.
This is probably the best one I've ever played.
Yeah. Let me introduce you to a little game called Psychic Pizza Delivers Go to the Ghost Town. Now, this game was sent to us for review from All Play, which used to be BoardGameTables.com. This game, I believe, came out either last year or a couple of years ago. I had seen a few people with it and saw it and thought,
It leaves a lot to be desired. Like,
I was like,
I never
need
would
that.
have thought.
However, we did get a package from All Play, and this was actually one of the games that I requested because it's Octobu, right? So, hello, this is Ghosts. I didn't know anything about this game, literally nothing. But this game is essentially a deduction style game where one person is playing as the mayor, and I do this because I myself have only ever played as the mayor. And I think I'm an excellent mayor.
Mayor's basically like a dungeon
It's kind
master.
of like a DM, exactly. Yeah. So in this game, the mayor has a map set up in front of them that shows them where there's different things like ghosts, fences, pieces of pizza, houses, different things. And the players. Each player has a little whiteboard, and they are trying to find a slice of pizza in the town. And then they are trying to find the house that their slice of pizza belongs to. They're in a 4-player game. There are 3 different slices of pizza. Each one of them goes to a different house. So the players are wandering around. They're saying, I'd like to move north. And then as the mayor, you say, success, you have moved north. And then you give a surrounding report saying there's a fence to your north, and there's 2 ghosts surrounding you. So that's the type of thing. You're giving them clues, so they're drawing it out on their little whiteboard, trying to deduce where they are in the town to try and find their pizza. And then when they find their pizza, they then have to find their house, because the house doesn't appear until the slice of pizza is in hand. Another really fun thing about this is that there are portals on the board. So somebody could innocently wander themselves into a portal and get spat out in a completely different space on the board. They have no idea where the portals are. They could be literally right next to each other, so they could walk into one and then walk out just one space away. Who's to say? It's chaos, and it is so much fun. It is so much fun. This game has been a hit every time that we've played it. I have such a blast telling people, boo, you've run into a ghost, or like, you have found a house, but you can't deliver your pizza there, because we had one game where everybody delivered their slice to each other's houses. Total chaos and confusion. So much fun.
Yeah, I just want to say quickly, like, I don't know if you mentioned this. I don't think you did, but like everyone's playing on the same 7x7 grid, so that's why it's like, you know, you can kind of deduce and figure out where maybe other people are, and it's super fun. I really like. There's a little bit of card play, so like if you find a ghost and then you take an action to attack the ghost, you'll get a card, and the cards like break the rules a little bit. I really want to try. I want you to try it, not as the DM.
Yeah.
I think next time we play it, I'd like to try DMing. Surprise hit of maybe this year for me.
Same.
I would need to like go back and remember everything we've played, but like certainly of the last few months, I had zero expectation, and as soon as I played it, I was like, I would play that immediately again.
And everyone we've played it with has loved it. And it's just like, it's a riot. It's so much fun because people just get confused. You make leaps in logic, and then you're like, where am I? And there was one section in our last game where Jeff and Christy were literally on the same space. And the surrounding report for Christy was like, there's one ghost around you. And then Jeff fought a ghost. And then the next time, there was no ghost. And she's like, what? How is that possible?
Where did the ghost go? And then
like,
I was like, Christy, I just killed a ghost.
On the same space.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is a fantastic game. If it sounds like something that you're interested in, don't walk by because you look at it and you think, oh, this is... Because it does look like a little kid game. Like this, it is 11 and up. Like this is not meant for like little children. It would be very confusing for them. Anyways, so good.
Next up is a big boy.
That was not sent to us for
This
review.
one was not sent to us for review.
Because it's ancient.
It is Star Trek Ascendancy, and I'm only going to put this up for a second because it's going to take up too much room, but also the Borg Assimilation expansion.
Oh, my Borg.
I'm just going to move these, but these are the two games we'll be
you
talking
could
about.
probably put this one here, so you can at least see it.
Okay, let's do this then.
Sure.
Star Trek Ascendancy is basically a 4X Star Trek game. So I'm just briefly going to talk about the base game, and then I'll mention what the Borg expansion adds. So Star Trek Ascendancy is I think you can play it 3 or 4 player.
3 players.
3 players.
3 exactly.
Okay, so 3-player only game, which is like as I mentioned, a 4X game. You're going around exploring the galaxy, uncovering new worlds, new events, phenomenon, finding other players, attacking other players. There's basically 2 ways you can win this game. Either by like eliminating everyone else, or by getting, I think, 5 Ascendancy tokens, which is done through diplomacy and all of these things. It's a very, very Star Trek theme. I haven't played any other Star Trek games, but some people have said this is like known as the Star Trek game to play. And I definitely felt it when I played it. So Borg expansion allows you to play Star Trek Ascendancy with 1 or 2 players. So that's going to jump into how I played it. I played this solo with the Borg expansion.
I have not played it.
Jamie has not played it. So the Borg expansion, what it adds is the Borg character to the base game. So I played as the Federation against the Borg. The Borg's objective is basically to go around, and it's kind of an automa. So it's basically, in Star Trek theme, going around trying to assimilate the galaxy. And it's doing that by going to new planets, hunkering down and building Borg cubes and assimilating the populace and that sort of thing. So the Borg wins if they assimilate a certain amount of planets. You win by going around diplomatically gaining Ascendancy tokens in the same way you would in the base game. But it's kind of a timer thing because you have to control the Borg. As more planets come up, they assimilate more things, and it becomes more and more difficult, and they're super powerful. I very much enjoyed this game. What I would say is I need to play it with someone that really knows how to play it because I basically stumbled through it. However, I think this is would always be my preferred way to play this game because it takes like...
Solo, you mean?
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, this is a 1 hour per player game, so you're looking at 3 to 4 hours. Probably a bit more if it's your first play. This knocks it down to like an hour.
Oh.
Like you can play this at 1 to 2 player, in my opinion, in like an hour-ish. And I think you get everything that you would have gotten in the base game.
You play with all of it though, like you.
Yeah, except for you wouldn't play with the other 2 factions. So in this, it's Federation, Klingon, and Romulan. So you would... Nope, that's Vulcan. So you wouldn't play with those other 2 factions. You basically pick one and then play as it.
Right.
So the thing I guess you're missing is that you're not going to combat with the 2 players in the Borg expansion.
Right.
So it becomes a cooperative experience unless you're playing the solo game.
Got it.
But really cuts down on...
technically, if you play it at 2 players, it is kind of like a 3-player game because the Borg is a player.
Yeah. But again, you would be cooperatively kind of trying to defeat the Borg.
I think I would prefer that because I don't know anything about Star Trek.
So all that being said, I very much enjoyed it. If you like Star Trek and big box heavy games don't scare you away, I think it's something worth trying if a friend has it or if you get a chance to just try it out without investing. I don't know how accessible it is now. Like, I don't know how readily available it is. I bought it at Lance's. Huh? There's a ton of expansion content for the base game, like a ton of different races you can grab, but
including these ones?
I don't know, probably. I'm sure you could grab the Vulcans. But anyway, long story short, the Borg expansion is really cool if you're looking to play this game at a 1 to 2 player, variant, I guess.
Yeah, and live long and prosper, my friends. I did that one right, though, didn't I? I did that one right, though, didn't I?
I don't know. You're obsessed with the Vulcans.
Oh, is that Vulcans, too?
I think so.
Because they do this, live long and prosper.
Yeah, that's Vulcans.
All right, one last game to talk about, and that is going to be SiliconVania from WizKids. So this game was sent to us from WizKids. Thank you to WizKids for sending this game. This was actually on one of our videos for like most anticipated releases because number 1, I love vampires. Number 2, I love the Miko art. And so I was immediately like, ooh, what's this? Now, this game is about vampires who are like Transylvania. It's really fallen behind in the times. How can we make it hip again? I know. We'll turn it into like Silicon Valley, but it's SiliconVania.
Transylvania Tech Hub.
Exactly. Now, in a nutshell, though, this game is a bidding type of game, right? So everybody has cards in their hand. There's specialists, and then you also have these different tiles that you're going to be bidding on. And so you are actually building out a grid in front of you of tiles in order to essentially optimize it to score as many points as possible.
Correct.
This is kind of like Overboss with bidding. So if you think about Overboss and how each different type of tile works, it's the same with this. So there's, red tiles that have like blood drops that the more you have, like the more you score. If you have a certain thing all in a row that's all different, then you're going to score points. And so there's all these different objectives that you're trying to hit while you're building out this grid in front of you. So you have bidding cards that everybody's going to place down like secretly, and then you'll flip them up, and whoever has the highest number gets to choose which tile they want. But you're also placing down a specialist card that you're going to be flipping up, and that allows you to get first dibs on other specialists. So there's a little bit of a deck building element to this, and the reason why you want some of those specialist cards is because they have special actions attached to them. The lower the card, the better the thing that it's going to give you.
Everything in this game is inversely proportional.
Exactly.
So the higher specialists are going to let you bid on specialist firsts, but the bonus you get off them are going to be weaker than the one specialist.
And sometimes even negative bonuses, right? And so that's kind of like what you're trying to do. Like, does this special ability give me more than what I would get by gaining that tile? And eventually you're going to start to put down multiple specialist cards because you actually can't score specific colors in your grid, specific color tiles, unless you have a face-up specialist of that color. And so there's a lot kind of going on. It's not a complicated game, but there is a lot going on in it. It is really fun. Actually, we've played it twice over the past month, and we played it just the 2 of us, and then we played it with a group of 4.
Yep.
And I think everybody seemed to enjoy it. It can be a little bit of a struggle of a teach, I think. There's certain elements of it that I think people were maybe having a bit of a harder time grasping, just because there's like, well, there's this grid, but there's also this bidding, and actually, like, at this stage of the game, because not all throughout, at this stage of the game, well, you need to play 2 cards, and that card needs to go up, but make sure you keep this card separate, because if it's face up, and then, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that
I feel like you're making it seem more complicated than it is, but...
It's not complicated, but what I'm saying is that it can be a little bit overwhelming.
I think the rounds are a little bit nuanced, wherein it's like, after round 4, you have to start playing 2 specialist outs, because to Jamie's point, 1 specialist is going to be used to bid on new specialists. The other one is going to be tucked by your board to score its corresponding color on your 4x4 grid.
Yes. And the bidding cards that you have are also only one-time use as well. There's a way to get some of them back, but that's another thing that you have to think of and also kind of pay attention to, because if I know Jeff's used his 5, then I might hold on to mine because I know maybe I'll be able to beat him later. So lots going on, but with that being said, I really enjoyed it. Definitely, I think plays best with more players. We played it at 2, and I think it actually worked quite well at 2.
I think 3 is probably perfect.
Yeah, 3 is definitely probably perfect because it gives you enough interaction and enough like competition, whereas like
not dragging out the length of the
exactly. But yeah, so I liked it. Did you like it?
I did. It felt like, I mean, there's a ton of tile placement, kind of like little like, I don't want to call it city builder, but you know what I mean, like little like tableau builder with tiles, like Overboss, etc., etc., etc. This one felt very unique.
Very unique.
That bidding mechanic and how the rounds kind of functioned were all different. I've never played anything quite like it. So if you're looking for like, if you like those types of games like we do, if you like Overboss, if you like King Domino, if you like playing those types of games with those types of tiles, but you're looking for something a little bit more nuanced and different, be something worth checking out.
It's probably not something that I would bring out outside of Halloween season.
Correct, I would agree with that.
Just based on the theme alone. However, if it had a different theme, like the theme doesn't matter.
No.
It's just based on the theme. I'd probably only play it in October.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is SiliconVania. And those are 5 more games that we've been playing recently. We would love to know in the comments below, have you played any of these? What do you think about them? Please tell us. If you want to talk even more about them, you can join our Discord. People be talking about games in there literally all the time. That's just what we be doing all the time.
Facts.
Right? Now, if you're interested in buying board games like any of the many games that we talked about today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is...
The Boardroom Game Cafe.
Yes, it is. Do you like snacks?
I do.
Perfect. Where do people even find snacks?
Munchpak.
Munchpak. We have a code, $5 off. And finally, just a special shout out to our channel sponsor, Rathskellers, who provided us with this beautiful table. We will have a full review coming soon. We want it to play on it with multiple people. We want it to film on it. So we are going to give you our in-depth thoughts coming very soon. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
It's beautiful.
Yep.
I'm just saying. I said it aloud. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days.
We both adjusted ourselves because we knew. They see, Jeff.
I don't understand how this is happening.
Sound just suddenly appeared on Jeff's iWatch. I couldn't help him. I don't have an iWatch. It was a different life ago where I did have one. It was that one on his wrist. Who knows? I'm blending in with the background anyway.
We're missing a game.
Ah!
Oh, okay. I don't, like, they're in, I don't know, are the Vulcans even in? Yeah, they are. Are they?
They must be popular if that's
I don't
the
know
only
if they're
thing
in
I know
next
about
gen,
Star
though.
Trek.
I gotta look this up now.
Is that next gen?
So, the Vulcans are, like, barely in Next Generation. I didn't think they were.
Yeah, I didn't
They're
think
like,
they were either.
They're like, they show up a handful of times, but they're not like a main race. They are in like the OG
I thought
Star
that's
Trek.
what Spock was.
Spock is, but you're confusing.
I'm so confused.
Well, like, there's different versions of Star
I thought
Trek.
that was the same one that you watched.
No, Next Generation's Jean-Luc Picard and the Klingons and the Romulans.
Yeah.
Spock and all that is like the OG.
William Shatner.
Yes.